Welcome to CV Hustle, the podcast created to educate, inform, and inspire entrepreneurship here in our Coachella Valley.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert Mraz, and next to me is
Fina Mraz.
And this is CV Hustle, the podcast designed to inspire, educate, and inform local entrepreneurship here in the Coachella Valley. And the goal of this podcast is really to speak to the top entrepreneurs here in the Valley, cream of the crop. And today we've got really two special guests. I know if you ever thought about getting into the electrical field or even the restaurant field, we got something for you today. So our special guests today are Greg Rangel of Rangel Electric. Thank you for being here.
Hello, everyone.
And also a tag team today. We've got his son, Ruben Reyes of Gastrogrind Burgers. And, that's one of the top burger places here in the Coachella Valley in a short time. So it's a very special double header today. And we're going to speak to two of the top entrepreneurs here in the game. So, we'll get right into it. Fina, you've known Greg for a long time.
So, Greg, here we are.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that crazy?
I know. So Greg and I used to live in the same apartment complex in Coachella.
Yep.
My mom used to be the manager of the apartments, and my mom would only rent to Jehovah's Witnesses, which is kind of crazy. You're not supposed to do that nowadays. But my mom rented to his mom, and his mom had a whole bunch of kids, and my mom, so it was cool. We were, I was probably 14, 15, and right?
It was a good time. I think a lot younger than that.
Really?
Honestly, I think it had to be anywhere 11 years old.
Maybe.
10,
maybe.
11, something like that. Yeah. So it was a long ass time ago. But no, definitely. We had it was a good time. I borrowed a lot of sugar from your mom. And power, I had electricity.
Banana bread and everything. So what happened after you guys moved out? Where did you go?
Really, we moved near Bagnuma Park.
So not too far.
And it was the newer projects. We were moving on up. I remember feeling rich, when you go over there and we were near the park. But basically, we just moved down that way. And from there, that's when I flew the coop, basically.
Yeah, well, you had a lot of brothers and sisters, right?
Yeah, exactly. I got two brothers and two sisters.
Yeah.
Only one younger brother than me, and the rest were all older. So I got my ass beat quite a bit.
Yeah. You know what? It worked out for you. Hopefully you're not beating your children today.
Yeah.
All right.
I can now.
Not all the time.
Yeah, not all the time. We use
phone
books.
A phone book.
A sack of oranges.
Yeah.
So once you ended up, flying the coop, as you said, where did you go from there? How did you start your business?
Really what I did at that point, I started working when I was in high school. I started working weekends and stuff like that. And I was working in construction, doing electrical, things like that.
Oh, really?
And, to be honest, and I'm not proud at all to say, but I'd say by the 10th grade, I dropped out of school. I just had...
Wow.
I'd hate to say it, I just had no interest. I was just gone at that point. I wanted to make money.
You know what? You were kind of ahead of the time because kids these days, right? We were talking about a lot of people aren't going to colleges anymore.
Yeah.
They're just kind of going straight into a career that's something that
It's a lot of debt. The culinary school was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Still pay for it.
Oh my gosh. Well.
Yeah.
Sell some more burgers.
Yeah.
There were some friends going to college. I mean, that just wasn't me. I just could not pay attention enough. My mind was somewhere else. I just wanted to do something. I saw people making money. I saw I can do the same way. And it wasn't all just about that. I just wanted to, be free.
You wanted your independence, right? Money equal
independence. I already had mentors. And I've always had mentors or friends that were older than me.
So the person that you worked for,
yeah,
they knew that you had stopped going to high school?
Yeah.
And they were like, it doesn't matter, just keep on working.
Yeah, this was back in the day, not too far back in the day, but they didn't care too much. You know what I mean? Nowadays they come drag you and they take you back in.
A little different.
But at that point, I was just gone. Yeah, so it's like, at that point, hey, I'm not working. Can I work here?
Yeah.
Like that, And even then, I probably had no business, but I started doing my own little side work and stuff like that. I didn't know too much about it, but I did,
So they trained you, though? They trained you how to be an electrician, or were you just digging ditches at that point?
Digging ditches. I remember they called me an attic rat. And I was cool. It's funny. I didn't know what the hell that meant. But attic rat, that's me, man. I'm down.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to be the best attic rat.
And that was it. Yeah, that was pretty much it. But I learned on the job. I wanted to learn everything I could.
Yeah.
Because my thought was I wanted to be the owner. I wanted to be the boss.
Oh, really?
That's always been my attitude. That's always what I had seen because that's what impressed me. And I think what impressed me more was the freedom.
Oh, sure, because,
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, there's only so much freedom. We don't have much freedom. We got, instead of one boss, we got 1,000 bosses now, which is our customers. But that's what impressed me. That's what got me. That's what I wanted. That was the ultimate goal. I just wanted it for me. And I wanted to be able to do it.
So what kind of projects were you working on when you started? Like, did you ever get shocked?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Really?
My first shock.
A cartoon where you do, they put,
Yeah, I was doing it when I was real young, and I remember trying to help out. Yeah, exactly. Just,
Don't do it that way again, right? That's how you learn.
Yeah,
That's how you learn, right?
Exactly. But, the fear goes away. I didn't die. Okay, I'll do it again. You know what I mean?
I won't do that one again.
Right. There's a lot of, there's fear, but, I got to be the boss. I got to get through it. So that's what I wanted to do. That was a big thing.
Right.
So how long did you end up working for that person?
It wasn't much. It was maybe like 6 months, 8 months.
But by that time, though, you had started your own little.
Well, I started going to work
jobs.
for other people. I started going to work for other people. Plus, I was doing odd jobs. I remember the Copacabana
Yes.
in Coachella. I was there.
Oh, yeah.
I was a bouncer. I remember being a bouncer there like at 15 years old.
What?
Yeah, they didn't give a shit either. They're like,
Wow.
hey, you just stand here. Don't let nobody come.
15.
Just drinking
Into
on the
this
job.
side.
Breaking some labor law somewhere, man.
Yeah, but I remember, and I got fired there because when they gave me a check, they said, "Okay, here's your $150," and the guy said, Social Security, blah 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 blah, $150. I'm like, wait a minute, I want to see what you took out. You're just giving me $150. I'm working 80 hours a week.
Right.
Hey, something's not adding
they're
up
like,
here.
Yeah, once I ask questions, they're like, hey, we don't need you here no more.
Skedaddle.
Yeah. So, but it was things like that. But it was just trying to make money, trying to get out of the hood.
Absolutely.
Just
But
that
you
was-
were still living with your mom at that point, right? So you
Yes,
kind
in
of
the
could.
beginning. Yeah, exactly.
just
So
started-
she wasn't too happy when I dropped out, but it's like, I got to go to work.
Sure.
That was a big thing. And I remember I was taking architecture class, like drafting.
Where at?
I would talk to him a lot in CV.
Oh, okay. There.
And the guy was like, hey, where you been? I said, I went to go wire a couple houses and that. And it was funny because it was almost like he was asking me questions.
Because you were getting a live experience, real life
See, that was a big
experience, and
thing.
not behind
of course,
a
my
desk.
chest puffs up. Us guys, right? We get
Let me
little-
answer those questions for you.
Yeah, exactly. So you get puffed up, pumped up, and it just helped to go from there.
Oh my God.
So that was really it, and that was a big thing. That's what I wanted to do. So everything I did from there, I just wanted to learn more, and I went to go work for a company out in Palm Desert. They were wiring the Marriott. I think by the time I was 21, I was running a crew of about 10 people.
Wow,
gosh.
21? You're a baby.
Yeah.
You're running crews
you were
with
responsible,
older
baby.
people in
Well, I
the crew
look,
too?
but you look back at a 21-year-old, you're like, oh man, that's a kid. Of course, when you're 21, 20, I'm a man.
You think you're
I'm
grown.
Oh yeah, you know everything. But I had a good time, and I didn't realize it too much because I was just busy moving forward. You know what I mean?
But
You
I
don't
think
really-
too, you had to be responsible,
Oh,
right? In order to
absolutely.
do that, you had to be there on time. You had to the job had to continue to get done.
Absolutely.
Right? So-
that was the big thing. So that's exactly what it was.
Oh, my
You got to
gosh.
make sure the job's running. You got to make sure everything's on time. The materials. There was a lot of stuff to watch for, but I liked it.
You like the
Well,
responsibility.
I
you
liked
like
it. I
being
started
in
being a
charge.
boss of somebody else. It wasn't my business, but now I'm a foreman. And it was kind of hard because there's older people, that don't necessarily want to, be told what to do by you. But I was cool. Hey, that's all right. I just need you to do this.
Were you getting paid more than $150 for 80 hours?
A little bit more.
About that much.
156.
Yeah, $156.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, I think I was $10 and $12, and one day I'm gonna make $14, and now we're paying laborers $20.
Oh yeah,
least.
the
At
minimum
least.
wage
Yeah,
back
it's-
then. I wonder what it was.
least.
Times have changed, and it's not that they want them to stay down money wise, but you also want them to have that ambition, kind of like I did. Like I want to do good. I want this
I
to.
did a good job. Yeah, you felt responsible.
I wanted to show my stuff first before I even asked for money.
Yeah.
That's the way I learned back in the day. Show
too,
your shit
yeah.
first, then you ask for money. You don't ask for money and then say, well, then I'll go do it.
Right.
And that's kind of, I don't want to.
Mentality has changed in
it's
the
hard.
younger generation, right?
Well, it's hard because by now I've had so many employees back in the day. If I
Okay,
look
so
back-
take me after the Marriott. Like what? So I'm assuming that after the Marriott, you didn't have enough time to really do side jobs then, or did you?
This is the funny thing. So when I was doing that, I was trying to make money. I mean, you know, I got with my wife, and she had a couple of kids, and so instant family, right?
Sure.
And I'm really trying to find a way to make money. And I'm thinking, what can I do while I'm working my ass off here? And I found a job throwing the newspapers. I thought, well, I can do that before 6 a.m.
I was gonna say 5 a.m., 4 a.m.
Well,
people
I
are
get
out
up
there.
at 3 because I had to wrap my own paper.
Gosh.
I had to be and I had to be done with my route by 6 a.m. and I had to be at the job site by 6:30.
Wow.
So
When do you go to bed so early?
yeah, now, oh man, I partied
You
hard
already
for a
trained
while.
for that back in the day. You know?
Yeah. But I remember that, and I had to go to bed early because I'm doing the same thing again. So I'm working, throwing the paper, and then I'm going to be a foreman, and then I'm thinking, okay, I got to start another business or something. And they started a swap meet or something, a flea market they called it at the fairgrounds. And I said, I got to sell something there.
What'd you sell? Don't tell me you were selling white socks. Everybody.
Oh my God, that's another world, man. But I started selling, I think, pots and pans.
Really?
You were just buying stuff to sell at the swap meet? How'd you even get into that?
I saw something online. I can buy some stuff if I go
Cheap
to Chatsworth. Just
you're
looking for
driving to
stuff.
go get product and
Yeah,
selling it. Wow.
I was selling that. Before you know it, I was selling. My mother-in-law was making floral arrangements.
Oh, wow.
So we sold that, and this is me and my wife. We're doing it all together at this point.
Sure.
She's kicking my ass to get out early in the morning, and then I said, hey, I got an idea. Let's do this. So we're selling that, and then before you know it, we're selling candies, Mexican candies and toys.
Really?
Yeah, that
Oh
was
my
on
gosh.
Saturdays and Sundays,
no
and I
idea.
had to go to Beaumont we had to leave at 3 in the morning. Sometimes I took these guys with, you guys ready to go? They're like, let's go. It's a flea market, right?
Yeah.
But I was doing that for a while, just trying to make a buck. Man.
Okay, so tell me about the flea market lifestyle. Did you have to pay your rent for that spot? How does that work?
It's a trip because when I started doing it, I came into Indio. I tried this because I thought this is going to take off like the Palm Desert because it's a fairgrounds, right?
Yeah.
That bombed horribly, but it took a while.
Right.
So I did that. You pay for your spot, and it's all up to you. You hope it doesn't rain. You hope it doesn't get windy. That's the worst. And then we found one in Beaumont. That you wait in line because everyone has their spot. That was a pretty popular one. So you wait in line, and if people drop out and don't show up, then you can get in.
Really?
Wow, you go over there and you don't
First
even
come,
know
first
guaranteed
served.
Yeah, you
spot?
don't know if you're going to sell anything. Yeah, so then
Wow.
you pop shit up right away, and you start selling stuff.
Wow.
But at least I thought, well, that's on the weekends at least.
Wow.
Then I can do my other stuff.
And you're there from like morning to like late in the afternoon?
Sometimes you're the last ones there because it's like, hey, I want to sell anybody that comes by. There's 2-3 people walking by. You want them to buy your stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So it's tough.
So you were in sales from the get-go.
Yeah, it's funny because, you see people walking by and you're like, oh man, they're coming in here. And then they walk by, you're like, ah, shit.
I'm putting up your signs, buy it.
Yeah, but we were hustling. We were always, and then we were always, at that point, we're all hustling like a family. Hey, I need you guys to help me out. I'm going to the flea market on Saturday, and they were down. They're kids,
Do you remember doing that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you like it or you didn't like it?
Every Saturday, it was just kind of a thing we did. I mean, it was kind of just a Saturday thing. Get in the van, go to Beaumont, sell some
Family
candy.
affair.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny because it's like, okay, here, I made $10, here's $10. They come back with more shit.
You're like, God
Right?
damn it.
I mean, come on, man. You find good stuff there. And it's like,
swap
hey,
meet.
look what I got. I'm like, oh,
Hidden
man.
treasures, man.
Well, we found some geese there, remember?
Oh, don't
Some
even
ducks.
bring
We
don't
bought
even
2
bring up
ducks
the
for our
geese,
daughters.
man. That was
Oh,
the
the
worst
worst
decision
thing in the
ever.
world. They stunk. They were
Oh,
dirty.
worst decision.
You
Like
name
a
it.
rabbit, pellets everywhere.
There you
You
go.
think it's a good idea and you jump on it. Nah,
Well, they're so cute when they're little.
yeah. But that's
Delicious when they're grown.
Exactly.
That's the way we hustled, and it's like, okay, I got to move on. I gotta move up. I gotta start doing some other things.
Yeah,
and really work on my electrical contract, and that's what I wanted. That was the ultimate.
So what age did you start really focusing on the electrician side and like really saying, hey, there's a potential for me to do big things in this world?
Well, that was kind of in the beginning, because that was always my focus, But once I saw an ad in the paper to go work somewhere else saying, hey, you can make this and you can make that, and you get health, and I never worked for a company where you get health and days off.
Right.
Wow.
So I hit them up, and it was some company out of LA, and it was just basically a dispatch company. And you charge crazy. They change from up there. So I went to go work over there. That was big for me. That was a big change because I was going to people's houses, and I'm using their menu to do work, and it was expensive. So I got thrown out of a few houses.
What do you mean that you were using their menu?
What was their menu for? Basically, their electrical. They want to add a plug. You know, they want to do a light. You know, you go to their book, you add it up, and you know, before you know it, it's $1,500 for like almost nothing. And even I'm going, God damn,
it's gonna take me 5 minutes.
Yeah,
This is a ripoff.
and it was commission, you know. So I'm like, okay, well, I can sell some shit. Plus, I'm a good electrician. That was more than anything. Boy, you work for a company like that, it's all about sales, even more.
Sure.
Right.
You know, so
Would you like fries with that? Yeah.
Well, the funny thing, and I always tell this story, I went to this old lady's house, and, you know, it was just about changing some smoke detectors, like 5 of them or something, and it was like $900. And I couldn't do it.
Were titanium batteries or what the
I
hell?
know exactly, man.
Batteries
You know, I'm
still
thinking, and that's when ultimate. I go, I finally need to just do this on my own, because people don't need to pay this. I can do it more inexpensive, and I can do it for myself, and I can start that. So that was huge when I went to work for that company. I think, you know, God sends you like God shots, and I think that's what that was. It's like we're gonna throw you into sales, we're gonna throw you into everything. You're doing everything at that point.
Well, I think that's like when you look back about starting your own business, you do start doing everything. You have to know how to do everything in your business, because you got to know how all of it works.
If somebody
right?
calls in sick, you're doing it. That's when you start.
That's it. Yeah,
You got to know how to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah, we're there no matter what. You know,
Right.
you guys know fully.
I was gonna say, I used to drive my forklift. He used to do deliveries. Like it just is the way
I
it
started
goes.
getting these jobs. I told my wife, hey, I got to go do this job, you know, and she's like, hey, I need your help, and kind of need you to help me dig a little bit. And she's like, what? Hey, let's go. She was down.
I
She
love
helped me.
it.
I remember she
So your wife was your first. She was your first employee.
Oh my God, she's holding the ladder, and it's like Sunday afternoon. Of course, I'd rather be home.
Hey, truly a family affair,
But
right?
that's what it is.
That's what it takes.
You know what? They're gonna pay me $200-300. I gotta get it done.
It's
I can't
worth
quit
it.
on Monday. I gotta go back to work. I mean, you know, things like that. And so it was always hustling like that.
Okay, so, but how did Rangel Electric finally go? Like
So-
you got to get a bank account. You've got to start doing. You got to get business cards. How did that happen?
I stopped working with this company. I had to go on my own no matter what. And it's funny because we were buying our first house.
Oh.
And at that same time, I quit my job. I remember the real estate agent.
That was
goes,
great
what
timing.
The f- are you doing? And
Come
I'm
on,
like,
I bought a new car.
no worries, man. I'm starting a business. He's like, you know, and
You
it's
do that after
you
you
do
get the
that
house.
after you buy the house.
Oh,
And
Greg.
the dude was flipping his shit, you know, and I didn't get it. I'm cool, right? I know everything, you know.
Well,
But,
you know what it is. You're probably it's gonna work. I'm already doing this.
It had to.
It had, yeah.
It
You sink or
had
swim.
to.
Sink or
It had
swim.
to. There was
Sure.
sink or swim. It had to work. I had to make it work, and I was really slow. I went to go work for another company for a little bit, and I, you know, reluctantly, because that's not what I wanted. I wanted my own.
Right.
So reluctantly, and then finally, I was doing so much side work. One guy goes, "Hey, I got this big house that I'd like you to work on," and I thought, "Holy shit, there it is,
Here
my
it is.
first one." So I went to go tell my employer, which I was running work for him at that point, and I said, "Hey, dude, I got to roll." He's all, "Please don't do this to me, man." He says, "I need you. I got these crews. I was running crews. They were doing a bunch of houses in PGA." And he offered me a bunch of money. I went and talked to my wife. I said, "This dude's offering me this much money, more than I've ever made for somebody." And she says, "Oh man, what are you gonna do? I mean, we're stoked. I can go do this house, which when I'm done, it's only one house, or
Keep
I
working
stick
for
with this
this
guy
guy.
and keep working for making good money. I've never made that before. I gotta go for my gut. I can't. And that was such a for sure thing.
It's hard, though,
Local
because
company, been around forever. Great guy to work for, you know. And I said, I told my wife I'm doing it. She says, "Cool, do it.
Wow, that's
We're
great.
here. Let's
How
make
old
it
were you
happen."
at this point? Do you think?
23.
What?
23.
Dude, I thought you were
You're a
like
baby.
32 by now.
23 years old.
Well, you're just a baby.
Baby.
And I had to hustle. So it was a trip because you're always the young kid everywhere I went. I opened an account at the supply house. I'm talking to people, and you know they all kind of look down at you. A lot of them, you know, especially when you go in to buy a supply house and you got all these other contractors and down
They've
there
been doing
ordering
there
shit,
forever, and
kinda
you're just
looking at-
yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of a trip. So I was always the underdog, I was always the young kid, not no more, you know. But that's what was a trip, you know. And some people would look down on you, some people are trying to kind of step on you too in a way.
Wow.
I won't go too much into that, but that's out there. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But I didn't care.
That's how you learn.
With my attitude, hey, that's cool, man. Go over here.
Yeah.
Over here. I just kept going because this had to work. Plus, I'm already doing what I want to do. Now it's just whatever I do from here on out.
So I always think about my business, right? Like I had to open up a bank account. So you had to open up a bank account.
Yeah.
And then you probably, when you got this big job, you probably started getting some big checks, right? So you got to go deposit those and you got to pay your guys. Like, did you have guys? How did
Not
you get
yet.
guys?
I would hire some laborers here and there, and I'd pay them cash. You know how that goes.
Okay.
You can't do that. You couldn't do it then, but you absolutely can't do that now. But, pay some guys cash. I did a lot of work myself. Finally, I hired my cousin. I put him on payroll. It was one guy, and then I hired another guy. I remember when I had one employee. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and then I needed another one, and I just couldn't sleep because I needed to hire another one, but how can I afford another one? That was in my head. How can I get another employee?
Right.
And it worked out when I got them because obviously you're doing more work, but pulling the trigger all the time is scary.
Yeah, starting a bit, and everything's risk versus reward, right?
Yeah, so
and it's just,
and so I had an opportunity one day to do a track of homes. I had no business bidding a track of homes. I'm doing it. I don't give a shit, right? So I did that, and they were like, "Okay, well, you put in your bid. We're gonna have you do it." And I need workman's comp. And I'm kind of like,
workman's comp.
What is that?
Yeah.
So my wife looks around. I think she went to the state because the state fund was the first one that will give you insurance. No one else will.
If you have no history, then you go to state fund.
No history, you go to state fund.
They can't deny you.
Did that, and it just started growing from there. It started going crazy.
How
because I was good at
How
it.
many homes were in that track?
I think it was it was 30 actually, but they did 10 at a time.
Oh,
But
perfect.
for me, that was nuts. So I started that, and then that guy has another one, and has another one, and then other people knew me as that.
Well,
And
and
so
I
it
think
just-
too, what happens is you start establishing like a reputation, right? And so you start
Absolutely.
getting like, I'm going to finish the job. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to do what I
was
need
the
to
guy.
do. Yeah,
I was
and
the guy.
that's key.
And I took pride in that. It takes pride. You're proud. Hey, Greg, I
Absolutely.
heard you're the guy. I got these 10 homes coming. Yeah, dude, you tell me where they're at.
I'm game.
I'm on it. And now I probably did that a little bit too much. But when you're hungry,
Got to be hungry.
let's do it. But when you start that, workman's comp, you get the insurance. Hey, you should be incorporated now. You started learning all these things that
Right.
you're like,
So, did you start it out as sole proprietor?
yeah, that was first.
Yeah.
That was
See,
first.
we did that too.
That was us too.
man, that
We had no
bit us in
idea.
the
That's
ass.
why we had no
Well,
idea.
the cool part about that, you can get some checks and cash them under your name and kind of do stuff
Yeah, it's a
like
little
that.
bit more gray
And
area.
you're doing
Right.
With $200?
Yeah, you're doing that until the tax man comes, and then then you're broke again.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Hate
So
that
now,
guy.
once you start running everything through the books, I remember the first time. Well, it got to the point one time. Well, it was always a learning process. We got a CPA. What's a CPA?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see if we can find my wife. Hey, find a CPA. She goes, things like that.
Right.
And then we had to get an attorney for a couple things one time.
Oh, sure.
So we did that, and it
Absolutely.
was just always a learning process because I didn't know any of this. I mean, I didn't finish high school. Not like they teach you that in high school.
No
anyways.
way they don't.
Which I believe in high school, they should teach you finances.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about that.
Yeah.
Teach you finance.
Teach
They
you
teach you to
things.
go to work, or they tell you to go to work. That's it. Finances are everything.
Yeah, but they should be teaching you things that are practical in life. Like how to
Absolutely.
balance a checkbook.
That's the
Well,
biggest
that's
thing.
like anybody that has money or any type of income should know how to do that. It's just
Yeah.
our educational system is
Yeah.
kind of flawed in that way. It's not a lot of practical information. So
It's not. So and then, that's why you hire people to do what they got to do.
Yeah.
And it's the way they got to hire somebody. Every time it was hire somebody, pay somebody. It's like, wait, what?
Right.
So
But-
were you working? Were you working out of your home, or did you end up eventually renting a?
Yes, out of my home first. So I'd have the guys meet me at my garage in the morning, 7 a.m. I'd tell them where to go.
Wow.
It was all out of the garage.
Wow.
Everything was out of the garage. And then I finally had to get an office.
Where
And
was your first office?
My first office was right here for Springfield Lane.
That's where Bobby is now.
Yeah. It was on Springfield Lane. You drive into right across from that restaurant. I wasn't in that restaurant.
Okay, Karen's or whatever.
Karen's. Yeah. It was called something else before. I think it was Heavenly Cafe.
yeah,
or
it's a cafe.
something like that.
Yeah.
But it was right across from there. But it was hard for me to pull the trigger because I'm like, oh my God.
God, now I gotta pay rent. Now I gotta. I know.
Expenses just keep going up, right?
But I'll tell you what, every time I pulled the trigger and signed the lease, it was
Like something it would come, right?
It worked.
Yeah.
like you were supposed to. Like that was
Yeah.
the piece that was missing, and then it would work.
Right.
You still had to hustle. Hustle never ended. You know,
So
it was always
keep those sales coming in, right?
Well, you got a great sales personality. You got a great personality, so that always, I'm sure it turns into sales at some point, right?
I try, and sometimes it's not always like that. You know how that goes.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
bad days.
Yeah, of course.
But people gotta like you first, no matter what you sell. I believe you
true.
work with the people that you like.
Sure.
Right.
And maybe that was it, because I think regardless I was gonna be an electrician. I think regardless I was gonna have a business. How successful, I don't know. So I just had to, be, who I am, be friendly, be, I'm excited. I like talking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're good at it, man. You're
But that's,
professional.
That's when you talk to somebody,
Right.
you feel their passion.
Yeah.
And then when you feel someone's passion, you feel passion.
Contagious.
It's like when somebody tells you, hey, you know what, I got this great, oh man, the food, holy, and you're like, tasty, you're where? You can't wait to go. Yeah, and that's kind of how I see it. But it went from there, and it was always a learning process. My next learning process was, I forgot who I was talking to. Something happened with an attorney or whatever. They said, you got to hire an attorney because you need to do a handbook. What the hell do I need a handbook
Oh,
for?
gosh, yes.
I said, well, you got 50 employees. So I had 50 employees.
Oh, my God.
And I had to get a handbook. I had to offer health insurance. There was a bunch of things that I didn't know. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Right.
But I had to do it.
Cross some invisible barrier now that you have 50 employees and now all these rules and regulations
That was like
apply.
the next step. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shit, are you kidding me? I didn't really pay attention to that 50 employees. But once you have 50,
It
that's a whole
changes
other
everything.
set of rules.
Oh, yeah.
So now, at your height, how many employees? Because I know you were probably one of the biggest electrical contractors in the valley at your height, right?
It's funny,
you
you
had a lot of employees, right?
I at one point, it was a little over 80 employees.
That's
God.
amazing. That's for this
Okay,
little
so this
valley.
is-
that is pretty amazing.
This is
That
what
many
trips me
electrical-
out. At my height, with 80 employees, I was 30 years old.
That is a success all in itself,
Maybe.
honestly. Well,
right?
you had to have help, right? You always have to hire people that it's going to help you, right? I'm sure Belinda was a huge help.
Oh, huge.
And then
huge.
you had a GM, I'm assuming, or what?
Without my wife, it wouldn't go that far because they're the ones that push you. I go home, hey, what do you think of this? That's where you bounce it off of.
Sure.
I mean, you got other people you can talk to, but who's do you really, what do you
Who's
think?
looking out for your best
What do you
interest?
think, babe?
Who's going to
What
support
do you
you?
think, babe? And she worried with me too. And it's like, oh shit, I did this job. I paid guys. They haven't paid me yet. What are we gonna do? I'd go to her. What are we gonna do?
Right.
It was just. It was.
She's
always,
like, we're going back to the swap meet.
Oh, I didn't even tell you.
Always
One
fall back
time,
on
that's
that
what
swap meet.
the kids laugh sometimes. I was selling vacuums door to door.
No.
That was a trip.
When was
yeah,
this?
I forgot
Dyson and
about that.
Dysons or what?
No, it was a rainbow vacuum, $1,300. Oh my God, I was knocking on doors, offering Diet Cokes if you let me do a something with you. I forgot about that, man.
Oh my gosh.
It's a trip.
I
Sometimes
love
it's
it.
embarrassing to talk about, but hey, that's.
You know
did
what?
what you had to do. What you got to do.
You just learn from everything, right? Every little experience brings you to something bigger. It
Everything.
really does.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. It's a trip. I look back, I forget a lot of these things, and sometimes the kids trip out. Oh, that's right, remember? And, it's this, that one time we had all the candies, because I stopped selling at the swap meet. We had toys, we had everything. We go to LA to buy them, and they're like, hey, what can we do with this? Why, you can eat some. I said, if you want, go sell them to the neighbors. They took off and started selling.
yeah.
They got rid of all the candies with the neighbors and had cash.
Nice.
Down, we live in some apartment complex or something.
Well, maybe because we were robbing the laundromat too. So
Yeah. Stealing quarters and pennies. It was a trip. It was always just hustling.
That's what it's all about when you're an entrepreneur, man. You gotta have that bug, otherwise it ain't gonna work, right?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: did you always you were always in residential, commercial lighting?
I was always in residential.
Okay.
At first, when I worked for other companies, they did a bunch of different things, But I remember when I got my first commercial job, I bid the job. I didn't have a guy to do it. I figured I'll hire a guy. It was a Zales jewelry store in the mall.
Oh yeah.
And they gave me the job. And I was like, oh, now what am I going to do? I got to go do the job.
Right.
So I hired a guy and stuff, and that was commercial. And I was able to hire a guy that can do all that. I mean, I just couldn't be there no more. You're
Well,
all
what's
over
the
place.
difference? What do you mean hire a guy to do the job? What do you mean by
Because
that?
commercial, especially like in a mall, it's a different type of electrical. It's commercial work, so it's not necessarily just Romex or wire, things like that. It's in conduit. There's different rules,
setup.
different regulations. The good thing on commercial is everything on the plan. Now, you see plans all the time.
Absolutely.
Commercial, it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Residential, how many plans do they have by the time you're done?
Depends on the homeowner, right?
Oh my God! I hate when I go to I'm working, I'm laying them out, I'm talking to homeowners, then they go, "Hey, you got the old plan?"
And
What do you
you're
mean
like,
not the old? Oh, we have 3 other sets from there. Like, yeah, exactly. So it's different for commercial. So then I ended up doing. I think I did a veterans medical center. I just started doing.
Started doing some bigger jobs.
It was easy by then.
yeah.
Or it seems easy, but it was easy. It was easy because I had guys doing it. Plus, I did the job. I'd go sell it. Did the plans. We did some CVS stores, some brand new pop-up CVS stores. My son-in-law was big on helping me with that because I started teaching him.
Oh, wow.
Electrical and teaching him how to bid, and so we got some good size commercial buildings that we did. Some CVS stores. We did some Johnny Rocket restaurants.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
The hospital.
Yeah.
Some big jobs.
It was a lot of big jobs like that, and it was just easy. And then when you got the men, when you got it's like when you try to get your first forklift, now you got 3 of them. Well, hell yeah, I can load all this stuff.
Right.
So it went from there.
Okay.
Just snowballed from there.
Yeah.
How in the hell did the restaurant business start then? Like, where did
That's
we're
where
like,
Chef Ruben comes in.
yeah,
right?
where did that end up?
Because now we're in a
culminate?
totally different
Honestly,
industry.
it honestly started as a joke.
A joke?
Yeah, because I was driving by and it's like, hey, you guys want more stress? There's a restaurant opening up. Like, there's a new space. It's fully loaded. All we have to do is remodel the inside. And literally, I just left Marrakesh Country Club, Bistro 60, right there off of Avenue 60 in Jefferson.
Trilogy.
Yeah, Trilogy. That's the word.
Country Club.
I just left there, and I was doing my own catering company, and I was doing personal meals, like weekly dietary meals for some clients. And I had been driving by in that fish and chip spot right there next to.
I used to eat there all the time. Yeah, I
Good
used
stuff,
to run
yeah.
into you all the
Fish
time.
and chips and fried
I was
rice.
20
pissed.
years,
I was pissed when they closed.
Best fried rice I ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I saw that we're open, and like I literally I text my mom and Greg. I'm like, hey, you guys want more stress? There's a restaurant opening up. You guys want to get an electrical business? And literally they called me like the next couple days. I was like, yeah, I could call the guy.
No way.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
serious?
he texts me the picture on the window with the Felice and restaurant and all this other stuff, and that just stayed in my head.
It just little. Okay, so let's take a couple steps back. You mentioned earlier that you have culinary debt from school. Tell me about that. When did you start going? What made you want to get into that?
I always enjoyed cooking. I mean, like my mom and Greg when they were busy with the business. I mean, they were never home. They were always with clients doing stuff. Right. So I would get home from school, and I'm hungry. What do I make? See what's in the fridge, throw stuff together, heat up leftovers. Even to the point where it's like, I'll make dinner. I'm bored. So I just started cooking, and it kind of always seemed like just something I would enjoy. I never really thought about it as like a career, just something I enjoyed. And then, in my mind, I was like, electrician, construction, this and that. I'll be an engineer. But just one day, just kind of like I got a letter from a culinary school, and I was like, I do enjoy cooking. I enjoy this. It's something I can see myself going to every day and not being like, I got to go to work.
Right. Something you enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll try that out. And, I told my mom about it, and she's right away, yeah, do it. Yeah.
Why not?
Go for it. She's all, the school is in Oregon that they sent me the letter from.
Really? How in the hell did they find you?
No idea. They just random letter they sent to me in the mail. It was probably because I was an avid in high school, so I was probably just probably just
Always prepping for
set my
college or
name out to a
something,
bunch of places. And I was like, Oregon, I don't want to go to Portland. It's like, it's too far. And the school that sent me that letter, like, well, we have a sister school in Pasadena.
Oh, there it is.
And I was like, all right, cool. So I thought about it. Like, yeah, I'll go to culinary school. And, my mom, she took me to all the interviews and everything, and it seemed like a good fit. So I was like, cool, let's go.
So how old were you at this point?
17.
Oh, you're a baby.
So were you had you graduated?
Not yet. I haven't graduated high school yet. When I went to culinary school, so I was in high school, and pretty much after graduation, because I had taken for like a secondary language, I had taken Japanese.
No shit.
For
Konnichiwa.
4 years. I had taken Japanese for 4 years. So literally, I graduated high school. I went to Japan for about a month and a half. Stayed there as like a exchange student.
What?
I had 2 weeks off, and then I went to culinary school.
Wow.
So it was like, some people, I take a year off. Now I had 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's more time to get in trouble. You take some time off,
exactly.
right?
Or more time to forget about
knock you off the path. Right?
We had some friends that just came back from Japan, and they were just like amazed at the food.
Yeah.
So when you were there, did the food entice you there?
To this day, the gas station sushi
No way.
I had there is better than anything I've with the exception of like one or two places. Is the gas station sushi that I had in Japan is better than anything I've had here in a sit-down restaurant where I've paid like $15, $20 for like a two-piece sushi.
So note to self, if you ever go to Japan, grab some of that gas station sushi.
Yeah,
right?
Shout out to Lawson's. best sushi I've had.
It's pretty ironic.
Wow,
That's pretty ironic.
Okay, so you go to culinary school. Are you driving back and forth? Did
No,
you get a place?
I had a room. I had I took the domain and all that stuff, and paid for the books and knives, and it was all part of the tuition. So I had my little apartment over there that I shared with like 5 people. So it was up in Pasadena. I'd come down every maybe 2-3 weeks, just quick little weekend visit, and go back up to Pasadena for culinary school.
You want to know what I'm thinking about right now? Have you seen The Bear?
Yeah.
It's a good show. That's a good show.
I can just see him, because that was kind of cool. It was a very good show.
It's funny because when he was in college, and he would tell us the shows he watched, which was it Top Chef? And
that's when like season 1 of Top Chef just barely come out when I went to culinary school.
We watched everything that we felt like we were, you feel like
Yeah,
you're the
with
one
them.
that called. How'd it go, man? Oh yeah, what's hurting? Because now we know everything about what we get all into. What about this? What about that? But now we loved it, man. It was a great school too.
Well, how long were you in school?
It was a year and a half, 5 months externship, and then after that, I came back and I started working at Sullivan's.
We went
My
to Hawaii
favorite.
for a bit.
Oh yeah. So my externship was in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah, so I went to Hawaii, but that was only like 3 months. Yeah, 3 months, and I came back, and I started working here in the Valley. And
I don't think I would come back after 3 months.
I was thinking the same thing, but cost of living in Hawaii is super. I mean, back in it was 2005. A gallon of milk was like $7. Wow.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you come back.
Back to the dream or the joke. This joke now.
Well, I gotta tell you,
This
though,
joke
too,
is not such a joke anymore, right?
Not
Because now
anymore,
you got
this
Greg
culinary
ready
school,
to-
Cordon Bleu, and so this thing was, fantastic, and I mean, the place was amazing, and sometimes we go swim, and they're all working through glass. I mean, this is like medical type
precision
just
cooking, right?
It was a trip, man. And then in Pasadena, it was just good. Like I said, we were almost living through him. We couldn't wait to hear more or see more or whatever. So I mean, this school was really, really fantastic.
So you guys already had confidence that he could knock it out of the park if he had his own restaurant.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's why there was no hesitation when he sent you the joke, and you're like, you're like,
Well, and then us with the businessman, yeah.
Well, it was one of those things as well. Like for the past like literally since I got out of culinary school, it was let's open a restaurant, let's do this. I'm not ready. I need more experience. At that point, it was
That's
like
true.
it was like, you know, when I saw that place, I'm like, I think I'm ready. Like, I think I got it. Like,
It's like the universe spoke to you, right?
yeah, it's
The
like
universe spoke
kind of
to
like
you,
everything
said,
kind of just lined up and just like click.
"Ah."
Wow.
I was like, I feel like I have enough experience. This place is open, and it was already a restaurant. So like, say if we just like bought a thrift store, we'd have to get plumbing,
yeah.
fire extinguishers, fire suppression, grease traps, ventilation.
Grease trap is the nightmare.
Yeah, floor drains, the whole
Everything. It was
the
ready.
whole thing. Like so this place was like already like a setup restaurant. So it was literally just refurbishment. Decorate the inside how we want.
Sure.
And it was just like that right moment where it's like, okay, cool, I think I'm ready.
Okay, but what made you say burgers?
We kind of took a survey of the area, and it was like, okay, cool, we got. You know, there's it was a brand new Italian place next door to us. We have the meat market, then we have Eureka, then we got Gorilla Burger way over there.
Way over there.
And it was one of those things. It's like, okay, with like a lunch spot is needed. There's really no outstanding. Like there's good, decent, but no outstanding people like things that make you say, wow.
It's true.
There's no
Especially
outstanding.
from his culinary experience where
Yeah.
he's at.
Yeah,
You
no
know, he's-
outstanding sandwiches, salads, burgers. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, there's a market for that kind of food so close to El Paseo, not on El Paseo.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. Like there's a keyhole, and we have the key. That's kind of where we started the burger place. Yeah.
The cool thing is when we're trying to, okay, what should we do? How should we do it? I told them, let's just go try burger places. And so we tried the local ones before, this and that. But we like going to LA a lot, especially since he was at college. And then he was living in Hollywood for a while, you know.
Well, there's so much more selection out there in LA too. I mean,
Well, you
right?
got 11 million people. Someone's going to try some funky
Holy
stuff.
shit.
You know, someone's going to do
some
it.
good
But
stuff out there,
there was
right?
one place we went one day, and we literally had we went to 3 different burger restaurants and had 3 full burgers in one day, I think. And we went to town that day. But I think we went from Carson to Pasadena to I think West Los Angeles, and just, I mean, we were just trying shit, whatever we can find, you know. But just for ideas or whatever. He kind of already knew.
Right.
I think we went all like deep in the hood in Inglewood just to find like this one burger spot that was well known. It's like, okay, cool. It's like
Hawkins.
yeah, that's what it was.
Hawkins
Really?
Burgers. You got to go there.
Burgers, okay.
It's in Compton, right next to the hood.
All right.
Do
It's
I
a
need
trip.
one of those
bulletproof vest?
bulletproof
Yes.
vests? Just kidding.
But
They
remember
cleaned
that.
Compton
Hawkins
up
Burgers.
recently. Thank you.
Hawkins Burgers in
Compton's not so
Compton.
bad.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay, so I want to go back to, because you said you worked with Sullivan's. That is one of my personal favorites. I am the biggest fan of the pineapple knockout,
Nice.
and I know how to make it.
Awesome.
12 days of soaking those pineapples. The best.
Really?
So, yeah. So, okay, so what did you do there at Sullivan's?
Sullivan's was when I first started. So like literally I was doing salads and desserts there.
Okay.
And I was just working the pantry station. It was just kind of like making salads, making salad dressings, and chop your lettuce.
And then you kind of got sick of that. And
It was kind of like I really enjoyed it there. The chef, like, because this is back when culinary school students they were few and far between. So like when I joined that team, it was literally me and a bunch of like 45-year-old guys, and none of them had any culinary school experience. None of them had any kind of like professional training. It was literally like, oh, we're gardeners in the morning and we fry stuff at night.
wow.
So when I came in, I was like, oh, how about we do this, we do that, kind of like throwing the little professional culinary school
Sure.
into it.
Flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
No pun
And
intended.
and yeah, like I really enjoyed it. It's just cost of living kept going up, and it was a corporate dining, so they would only pay you so much. If you didn't fit that niche, they wouldn't pay you that much. So at that point, I started because I had taken Japanese for 4 years. I knew the language, and I started working at Okura Sushi when they first opened.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big,
So,
big
and,
spot. Big spot.
Yeah, and little by little, they're kind of like, well, you can communicate with us, because like all the chefs there were Japanese. None of them spoke fluent English, so me being able to speak Japanese was like, okay, cool. They can communicate with you. You have the culinary school experience. We'll buy you a sushi knife, and you train with us.
Wow.
But you have to leave the steakhouse. So it's kind of just like, all right, well, I'm learning something new. I'm getting a skill that's highly demanded.
Right.
And then, but I have to leave the steakhouse. And I really love the steakhouse. It was awesome.
Did you tell him that the gas station sushi was still better?
No.
Okay, I just checked.
Wow.
The thing about like Japanese sushi chefs, very proud.
Yeah, I don't
We
think
would go into a crew. Hey, Ruben, hey, we're here today. Shut up. And they're like, hey, what do you have? I'd say, you know what? Tell Ruben to make us some stuff. He knows what's up.
He knows what we like.
He would just come out. You know what it was? He was stuff not even on the menu or whatever. And
off the menu stuff. That's the best stuff right there.
I got in
So
trouble a couple
bougie
times for
now,
that. But
Greg.
it was fantastic.
It was quite delicious. Okay, so tell me, what does it take to start a restaurant?
Yeah, that's
lot.
gotta be
A lot?
There's gotta be a lot
patience,
of
money.
things.
Crazy, a little bit crazy?
Yeah, you can't be totally sane. You have to have a little bit of a bit of an alcohol addiction, so
To get through the day.
Yeah,
Right?
always helps.
Hey, gotta do what you gotta do. Right?
all that helps. But yeah, pretty much it's a lot of moving parts. Like I always tell people, the restaurant's a machine. Like you're just a gear in the machine. Like I tell people, if I get taken out by some old person driving down 111, like the restaurant's still gonna keep going. They're gonna find someone to replace me. It's like I'm just a cog in the machine. Even like as much as I do here, I'm just a part. Like the restaurant is a machine. It keeps going no matter what.
Right.
Okay, but what we're missing details. So I want to know. So you called the place and said we're interested in this in leasing.
So this is where God comes in again, and I say because he, now he's like, Greg, what's up? What are we doing? I said, all right, well, let's go check the place out. I talked to the guy. We left. I said, we'll talk about it some more, and then I didn't call the guy for like 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks came along, and I thought, and every morning at 6 a.m. when I wake up, back then it was at 6 a.m. But I'm like, this is the only thing in my head. And finally we called him again. I said, hey, you know what? We'd like to check it out one more time. It's a month later, right? Mm-hmm. We check it out. We're like, should we do this? Yeah, you know what? Let's do it. Okay, cool. We go see it. I don't call the guy back again. And another month goes by.
Oh my god!
Now this is a restaurant, and what I mean by that is this shit gets taken up like this. Like Ruben said,
what year was this?
It's
2019, early 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, those things are quick, and it was still there, and I kept thinking, and finally, he's like, "Hey, what are we doing?" I said, "You know what? Call him right now. Tell him we'll go sign." Mm-hmm. And I was just scared, like when I got my first office, when I got my first employee, all this other stuff. What am I going to do? There was so much pressure before we even touched it that we finally called him, and I said, "Well, what do you think, man?" He goes, "Yeah, man, I got it, this and that." I said, "Okay, cool." We went. I signed with them, and I remember there was so much pressure before we signed that once I signed, pressure was off.
Yeah. At that point, I was
because you're just the anxiety, right?
It
The thinking,
was
the thinking, the
anxiety
thinking.
in our heads, and can we? And when we signed the lease, the only thing I thought, I know how to go to work, and the only thing I thought,
Of course you do. You're Mexican.
yeah,
You're
the
Mexican.
only thing I thought now is, all I got to now is go to work. It's ours. Now we got to make it happen, and
make
it's
it
like
work.
he's making it happen.
Okay, but how did you know? Did you know how much food to order? Like,
kind of.
who to
I mean,
buy from?
we because with my experience in the food industry, I had the names and numbers of vendors and companies, this and that. So all that was taken care of. At the time, I was doing I was working my catering company. I was working at Creamistry at the ice cream place as a part time. So like it was a lot of downtime. So like literally like most of my time there at the ice cream shop was setting up, getting everything ready, and the rest of the day was me writing in my notebook, ideas, recipes, this and that. And so by the time we actually signed up and had everything done, I had planned everything out. I had the menu. I had how much burgers we needed to sell for the space, this and that. I kind of had like a basic concept of like what we needed to do, what needed to get done. I had like kind of like a business plan like already in my head. Like, okay, we need to sell X amount of burgers to make this much profit. We have, this many employees. But that was back when we started. Like, because the concept when we first started was like a counter service. Hey, number 43, you're up. Ding ding. Come get your food. But then it just kind of evolved into something else.
Yeah, your business said, no, we're doing this.
Well, the market said, said this is what
exactly.
Market, right?
It's, when we started and what he's talking about, and I'll bring out those notes one of these days. I'll post them or something. But he says, yeah, look, here's the kitchen. And he drew it like the way we draw a set of plans.
Oh.
The kitchen with a cook, and I mean, holy shit. And then I said, what about the burgers? And then he had, the burgers were drawn just like a set of plans.
Unfortunately, I don't know where that notebook went, but I like literally had, it'd be like a drawing of the bun, drawing of the sauce, drawing of the lettuce, drawing of the tomato.
I love it.
There's a line to it, and it says lettuce, 3 point something, whatever.
Wow.
What the hell? I'm thinking just meat, but right? No,
nah, man,
he has it down. I told him one day, when we were doing
that
that,
culinary school coming out right there.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at these drawings, I'm like, holy shit. He knows what he's doing. Not that I didn't think he did it, but when you actually see it in action, you see where the education is. And I remember that I told him one time, I said, contractor again. I said, hey, I need to start shopping vendors. I said, you got it. Where's the recipe? Tell me what you need. He said, I'm working on it. I said, okay. A week goes by. I go, dude, come on. And he goes, I'm working. I go, look, what's the problem here? I said, they're Smart and Final. They got ketchup. They got mustard. They got bread. What's up? And he goes, dude, get out of my kitchen. You're not gonna.
Okay, we're running low on time, so I want to talk about a couple things. I know there was an issue with the name. So tell me how you came up with the name, and now tell me what's...
Well, at first we were Grindhouse Burgers. But apparently there was it Grindhouse Monster Burgers?
But why Grindhouse? Where did that come from?
Because we grind our own burgers. Everything like, we don't buy frozen meat. We don't buy frozen patties.
That's why it tastes so good.
Yeah.
So let me say this real quick. Every time he would cook something, this guy had to go to town. So at home he's making something, it's over the top. He's going to make a snack, it's over the top. A freaking peanut butter and jelly, it's over the top. Everything was over the top. And I didn't even think about the restaurant. He starts making these burgers, and they're over the top. And that came up with a name because we need a great... First, I'm going to make all my own sauces. I'm like, dude, make your own sauces. Hey, we're going to grind our own meat. We can grind your own meat. Why can't we just buy the packs at Costco? This is, again... my thinking.
Yeah.
And he says, no, you don't get it. Okay, cool.
I'm like, stop it right now or I'm done. Like,
I said, do your thing.
Yeah.
I said, do your thing.
Okay, so Grindhouse, and then there was another Grindhouse somewhere else.
In Atlanta. But
Atlanta.
Yeah, so we thought we were cool. We saw it when we first opened, but it's like, okay, cool. It's on the other side of the country.
Over there.
But
they don't give a shit.
Yeah, what we didn't know was that this guy was an attorney before he opened up the restaurant. So he literally had all his
trademarks,
T's crossed, all his I's dotted, P's and Q's all made up to date. So he had a national trademark on anything that had Grindhouse Burgers or Monster on it.
Yeah. Killer. Grindhouse Killer.
Yeah, Killer. Yeah,
it was Grindhouse Killer Burgers. And I thought, well, that ain't no thing. We talked to our attorney.
So when we first opened, we started getting calls like, oh, yeah, I'll take the Grindhouse, the grind sauce. And, I want a side of chili. And I'm like, we don't serve chili. We don't have that sauce. Did you read our menu? And it turned out like they were trying to contact this burger chain in Atlanta, but they were getting us. And somehow he got a
wind of it.
He got wind of it, and luckily he played nice. Like he was really nice about it. He was just like, "Hey, change your name, and then we'll drop it." So we spoke to an attorney, and he literally said, "Like, hey, this guy's being really cool. He can get you for every single logo that's on your every single menu. So if we had 30 menus, he would get us 30 times for just the menus. Every single logo that's on our hats, every single logo that's on our shirts, every single logo that's on our walls." He's all, just change the name, get it over with.
Be done with it.
Be done with it.
The big thing, I think that's how they were getting this, was social media. Because people were tagging. And if you tag half the name or the name wrong, or whatever, that's where it was popping and mixing, and that's when they hit us up.
So then you changed it to?
Gastrogrind.
And how did that come about?
Them two.
Really?
Yeah.
We couldn't decide. It was time to decide. We needed to decide, and we kept letting it sit like I let everything else sit. And they were saying, "Hey, you got a timeline here where you got to change the name." Mm-hmm. So we were talking too. What can we do? I mean, at that point, our mind was just so much on Grindhouse. We loved it. We grind, it's our house, Grindhouse Burgers. This is killer. You know, our logo, I made up that logo out of something else or whatever. But anyways, we loved it. So we didn't know what to come up with. And gastro, you don't think of gastro pub. You look at the definition of gastronomy, which is excellent food and all this and that. And then burgers. And it's like, we need to just come up with something and throw it. You know, so I called the guy that does all my signs and stuff over there at Canyon Designs. And I gave him 2 names. I said, we're doing this. And he says, you're not doing that. He says, you need to do this. So in a way, it was him too. He goes, this is what you need to do, and I'll make signs for you tomorrow. And I said,
Perfect.
Cool.
It
done.
all worked
Do it.
out.
And that's how it happened. But I had to get an attorney, which is real cool guy, and he helped us out.
He was actually one of our customers. He did all of our legal work for a sandwich. So
he says, just hook me up with a burger, bro.
yeah.
Nice.
For burgers.
It didn't keep going that way, but still, it started.
Maybe we
off
could get
that
him to work for some
Yeah,
burgers, right?
yeah. But it was cool. That's how.
Okay, now I want to talk about one other thing. So tell me about this.
The Food Network found you guys on because obviously you knocked it out of the park with the menu. You guys are probably one of the best burgers here in the Coachella Valley.
You
I
have
can
to try them.
personally vouch for that. So word spreads. A couple years later, Food Network's showing up at your door. Tell us about that whole experience.
Well, pretty much it was a busy. Like I remember the day exactly. It was a busy day, and it was a busy lunch. And one of the servers comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, hey, someone wants to talk to you about some business thing." I'm like, and usually we get those calls all the time. And she's like, "Oh yeah, we can offer you so much this on that, you know, with your POS system." So I was literally I tell him I'm busy, hang up on him, and she's like, "It's from Food Network." I'm like, give me that phone. Like,
I'll take that one.
No,
I'll take that call.
I literally tell my cooks, you take care of the line. I'll be back. I got to go talk to these people. So I go I'm literally on the phone with them, and they're like, oh, yeah, we're from Food Network. They didn't tell me what show it was. Like, we're interested in you. You know, we've been hearing a lot
Everything
of
was
buzz.
hush-hush.
And they're like, we want, like, and they start just literally, like, they put us through the Spanish Inquisition. Like, what are your recipes? Who's working for you? Give us your health inspections.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, literally, who do you buy from? This, like, everything. They want.
Isn't that like when people are asking me about who my vendors are? I'm like, why do you want to know? Did you feel like that? Like, hey.
At first I did, but when they're like, oh, it's Food Network, I'm like, okay, cool. Like,
so
barriers are down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I remember he told me, he goes, hey, they just called. Is that something you think we should do? Hell yeah, dude, come back. Do what you gotta do. He goes, yeah, I kind of had a feeling you say that, you know. And he says they're going to send me an email. Let's wait for an email. And I'm like, okay, we're all waiting on the computer and shit.
Yeah.
You know, and finally they sent an email. And it was a process. It was,
It was like we had to do like a couple Zoom interviews, a phone interview. They came in person and interviewed us, and then finally it's like, okay, you're doing diners, divers, and dives.
And what is it, like 6-7 hours easy of interviews?
Yeah, about there.
Easy.
That's
I sat
awesome.
down.
It's a long
and
day,
talked to
man.
It was,
Belinda.
literally all three of us sitting in front of a laptop, you know, doing a Zoom interview, you know, that or, you know, we'll have the phone right there, all like talking, you know, oh, this and that.
And after all that, we still didn't know.
Yeah, we still didn't know.
So we'll let you know.
So then they come in, and you bring a couple guests in. We were one of them, right? Thank
we're
you
at
for
a table.
inviting us.
You have to slow the slow-mo real quick to catch us, but we were there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So then he comes in, and then you just did your thing on camera. Were you nervous?
A little bit. I was a little nervous. It was kind of one of those things. Like the production crew, they're like, "All right, guys, coming in. We're about to start filming. If you got your whiskey, take your shots." I'm like, "All right, cool. I got it."
I'm ready.
Yeah. So after a few drinks, it was kind of just like get all loose and all right, cool. Let's camera ready.
That's awesome. Man.
Yeah. So.
It was. They had a problem. They
But
were
yeah,
very business.
It was
There
very
a process.
much a process. Like there's literally one girl in the corner. Her job was literally just to tell us how much time it was remaining until Guy Fieri got there. Wow. Like literally, like he's here in half an hour. He's here in an hour and a half. 5 minutes, guys, get ready. It's like.
And then he rolled up in his cool little Mustang.
Not
right?
even that.
Mustang.
That thing was parked there in the morning
waiting.
and covered.
Yeah.
And he came in and like some production van just got
He
out.
came in a Suburban.
Yeah.
But the red car was there.
That was
They're like, hey,
Yeah.
dude, the car's here. You want to take pictures with it? I'm like, I thought he was gonna pull up in it.
It's reality TV, man.
Yeah.
Once you've been through it, it kind of kills the magic.
Yeah, but when you see the magic like that, it's kind of like, oh, that's how it works. But it's still a trip,
Right.
Yeah, like we like Guy, he was only there maybe about 2 hours, like hour and a half, if that.
So which burger did he eat?
All of them.
Oh, really?
I ate all of them. The main one they showed was
the smoky and the surf and turf. But like those, I mean, it was. I mean, I've never seen anyone inhale a burger like that. Like,
Okay, so this tripped me out because it was his son there too, and I thought, okay, they're gonna bite it, talk about it, this and that. They finished them.
yeah, literally, like they cut the burger in half, and it was like
They both tore it up.
Yeah. Well,
They didn't mess around.
they're professionals, man.
What?
That's what
and
they do for a living,
the
right?
entire lead up to it was like I was, researching like, oh, what if Guy doesn't like the food? And it's pretty much like, yeah, if he doesn't like the food, he'll take one bite and just like set it down and be like, oh yeah. Like if you give him a chicken, he's like, oh yeah, that was chicken.
Right.
But like if like they said like, yeah, if he
They scarfed it, man.
yeah, no, it was
They scarfed it. I
Okay.
thought this tasted or not.
I want to talk about something else because, like we talked about, things just kind of happen. Liquor license.
Yeah, that's another. Well, I don't want to say God because I don't know if God. throws
Well,
liquor
yeah,
in
but
his pot,
you get put into a lottery.
We got put into a lottery because you can first you do is you look for a broker because that's what it is. Basically, there's only, let's say there's 20,000 liquor licenses in California. That's it. They don't make more. So somebody has to go out of business or whatever so that they can go on inventory, or they're revoked. So the easy, fastest way, if you really need it and it's part of the plan, you go to a broker and you pay 50, 60, 80, whatever someone feels like selling their license for. It's like real estate.
Wow.
yeah.
Or you wait once a year and you pay $70,000, whatever, to the state.
Wow.
And they put you in a lottery.
Yeah. And by that time we already had our beer and wine license for like a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, we had that one since the
So
beginning.
it was
which is easy, well, to an extent.
we were already in
Yeah.
good standing. The liquor license, the spirits license, that's the hard part.
Oh yeah.
And they put you through the ringer. FBI background, I mean, everything. I didn't
Government's
realize
coming in and checking you
Yeah.
out, man.
everything.
Inspectors, where's your license? Where's this? Where's that? Show me your paperwork. Give me your certifications. Where's
Yo,
your...
let me just get you a beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Calm down.
Just let me mainline some whiskey and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, so now it's time for the reveal of who's going to get it and who doesn't, and it's on Zoom. And so Belinda's watching it. She said, I'm going to check it out. We're working. I said, I can't. You check it out. I'll watch a little bit if I can, but it's in, up in Sacramento or whatever, and we didn't hear our name. And the lady calling everything out was an accent.
Oh
Big
gosh.
time. So we didn't understand nothing. And finally, she says they called her, and they're like, yeah, so you play it back. And we were like the second ones down the list,
Wow.
Gastrogrind Burgers. And we're like, whoa.
That's
And
so
that's
awesome.
that is tough to get, and that's we're grateful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
that was just another shot.
That's awesome.
So we were able to do that, and that's great. But they put you through the ringer. I mean, it's like I was in high school again. They want you to write like essays.
Yeah.
Why do you think you need one?
No, like I literally had to write like a page and a half of why I think the community deserves our restaurant with the liquor license.
That was a funny
Oh,
thing.
that's a weird.
And they
question.
said it can't be the typical answer like, oh, it's because you want them to enjoy it with a beer. You have to come up with some creative.
Did you go on
shit.
ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were ChatGPT back then, back in 2019.
That was before ChatGPT was a thing. Like,
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
definitely.
it was
still-
Chat
still-
Rangel. That's what
yeah,
that was.
I still have to use
You
my
know?
head on that one.
Right. So obviously, you guys got the liquor license. Where do you guys see the restaurant going? Your business going in the next? What you got some goals going forward? Where do you see it going in the next?
There's a
5
few
years?
different ways that we talk about going right now. We definitely need to upgrade our place.
Yeah.
Because
We outgrew that spot maybe about like 2 years ago.
Right.
But here's the funny thing is I wanted to be the hole in the wall where everybody lines up to get to. Because when we went to LA, that's how a lot of the stuff was. You wouldn't necessarily go down to El Paseo and find these great places. You'd have to go look for them.
They'd be in the
And-
hood somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what it was here. And this I don't believe it's just a quantity, but it was a quality that outgrew the place.
Absolutely.
That's what outgrew the place. Because when we started, I hadn't even tasted the burger yet. And we had the taste test the day before we opened. I had no idea what the
way.
hell we were serving. He knew. And of course, we're shelling out. Oh, before anything, we built this place with our own hands. We were in there cutting helping cut tile and wood and painting and all this. So it was us, Belinda, my wife. I mean, we were all doing that. We hired some help for here and that.
Go to Home Depot, picking out the
did,
wood.
I don't know how many Home Depot.
Like all the wood siding that we like, kind of like those panels that you have right there.
Me and Belinda in downtown LA with the truck loaded with chairs, and I mean, we're
going to
doing
restaurant
shit like that.
supplies. And
But going back to the day I had them, I'm like, okay, we invited family and friends, and I had one of these burgers that I hadn't had yet because he's doing his thing. I'm supposed to stay out of the kitchen, right? Holy shit, was that good?
Yeah.
Everything.
I actually got him to
I'm
stop
like,
eating well done burgers.
Really?
Yep.
I remember thinking,
What's wrong with the well done burger?
Not in my place.
Her next,
No.
man.
but I remember thinking this was my thought. Shit, I think we're gonna make it.
Oh, that's
I remember
awesome.
saying it because I didn't know yet, and I thought, shit, we got a chance. I go, man, this is holy shit.
Yeah.
It was good.
And did you go, yes, it is?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you gotta have the product, man.
It was a small place, and it was all about come up and get it. But the style of food that it was and the quality it was, people already had the impression of bring it to me.
Hey, we literally had people like writing us bad reviews because we didn't have cloth napkins and tablecloth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean things like
Oh,
that.
wow.
And so people were like, "Hey, well, you got to get it over here." They already called your number. They're like, "Well, we're here," or,
Just bring it to me, right?
That's what it was.
You know what?
So that quality is what
The best. I mean, we order from you all the time. I
You
mean,
do?
I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
I love your food.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
great, and to this day the best Brussels sprouts I've ever had in my life. My husband hates
I
Brussels
hate Brussels
sprouts, but he
I'll
will
eat
eat yours.
yours. Yours is
They're
good.
absolutely
Thank you.
Great, man.
And my ass thanks you because I've gained 10 pounds.
homemade sauces again on the bottom. He makes. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
To me, it blows me away. Everything's homemade sauce.
Yeah, we get some people like
Fresh.
they'll ask us, we had one guy come in, he ordered the Caesar salad, and he's all, I want 10 sides of dressing. I'm like, well, we're going to have to charge you for it. We'll give it to you.
Right.
We're going to have to charge you for it. He got super mad. He's like, what, you guys ran out or what, this and that? I'm like, no, we make our sauces in-house. I mean, it takes, I have a cook separating the egg yolks and, cleaning anchovies.
It's not coming
and
out of
doing
a
this
bottle,
and-
baby.
Yeah, exactly.
The amount of eggs we go through,
Oh, yeah.
I never knew.
Buy some chickens next.
Yeah.
Farm chicken
Yeah,
farm
yeah.
next.
Chicken farm in the
There you
back.
go.
Come out.
So are we thinking that we might be moving locations here in the future just to
It's-
serve,
we
better
need
serve
to.
the
Yeah,
You
we
need to
clients
buy your
and-
own building.
Yeah, that's the ultimate way. to go.
Yeah, because one of the building we have is old. It's old.
Yeah.
Like, we have inspectors come in and be like, oh, yeah, this thing's like 30 years out of code. It's like, oh, yeah, it's still...
We're grandfather
yeah,
days.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, when it comes to the building, they're like, yeah, hey, that's part of the building.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't worry about here.
Can't do.
Yeah.
We can only do so much, right?
Exactly, but that's our big thing. Is we've outgrown the place, more quality than anything, and we do need to.
I love
We
it.
need to move.
I
So,
love it.
So in the next couple of years, we can expect an expansion coming soon, huh?
Yeah, that or we're going
Good
to buy
for
the
you.
Italian place next door. And
Right?
There
Yeah. I
you
mean, that's
go.
always easier, right? Just
Yeah.
knock down
Oh, it
a
is.
wall.
it's
So for people that haven't checked out your restaurant, I'm sure there's going to be some people listening that haven't. How can they find you? How can they find your?
we're
get
right
the
on
word out
Highway
there?
111 across from Babalu's, in between the 7-Eleven and the Altayac Meat Market on San Luis Rey. Right in between San Luis Rey and Portola.
And I'm assuming you're on Facebook and Instagram. And all that.
Instagram.
Best way to order through online is just on the website? or-
Yeah, through our website. We're also on DoorDash. You can order through there. So, that's
Plenty of ways.
Yeah,
plenty of ways to
get a
check
hold
out
of
the
us.
best burger in the Coachella Valley.
Exactly.
guys
Yeah, and
out
we
there.
recently just won Best Burger in the Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I voted for
there.
it. So,
Yeah,
yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're always.
they're absolutely the best. I gotta say.
Yeah,
And
I
there's no
agree.
BS.
I can say it. I don't cook it. He cooks it.
Right.
But I was telling our, friend of mine, dude, that's the best burgers ever.
Yeah.
They are. When I desire a burger, that's what I go for. What sucks is once I open this restaurant, every time we go to have dinner and they have a burger on the menu, I gotta order it because I gotta try it.
You gotta
right? I gotta
Gotta see
check
what
it
the
out,
competition's
man.
doing.
Yeah,
man.
whatever. But no, they're bomb.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then how do people find you in your business?
You can Google it.
Yo,
Rangel
don't call
Electric.
me.
Yeah. Well,
Don't call my cell phone. Right.
But see, and that's one thing that
Number 760.
and we've expanded there too. So we're under the same name because we have a whole audio video division, and my son-in-law runs.
That's right.
So we do have that, and
Just
it's
started solar, right?
It's essentially 3-in-1 because we
And
do solar
solar.
as well.
Solar's coming next, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So we're already doing solar contracts. We got quite a few under our belt, but we're not fully advertising or anything yet. We do it with our own customers.
Okay.
For now.
Coming soon, huh?
Yeah.
That's just how a business has evolved. It just happens that way, and I'm glad that you're doing that because there's a need for it.
I got one more thing coming up. I won't talk about it too much, but it's an extension also of Rangel Electric.
Good.
So I'm excited about that.
A teaser. We'll have to have you back.
Yeah.
I would
Season
love
two.
to.
Season two. We'll have to go
Yeah,
into
no,
the new-
absolutely. But yeah, you can Google our name, Rangel Electric. We'll be more than happy. And you know what? I really appreciate you guys having us here.
Thank you.
And I've always appreciated you guys. I've known you a long time.
I know.
Tile designs, I pay. I mean, come on, man. I got to be interviewing you guys. You guys are killing it out there.
Bobby's getting shy, but I want to know, and from each one of you, what do you think is, and then I'm throwing a curveball.
Go for it.
What is some advice that you've been given, best advice about owning your own business, or somebody that what's the
What was the
question?
best advice you've gotten in terms of being an entrepreneur?
I would say, God, because there's so much things out there. But know that you're going to be married to it. Know it that it's going to be all the time.
Oh yeah.
Now, even if you're not at the office and you get a chance to close, it's up in your mind. So make sure you love what you do.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Love what you do. I think that kind of fixes it all.
That'll carry you through when you're suffering through those days where you're just like, everything's gone wrong
And
today,
I would
right?
say that one of the biggest things, and what comes to my mind right now is be honest.
Oh, amen.
Be honest 100%.
For me, one of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten was before you make a decision on the business, take a step back and look at the whole picture. See the whole scenario for what it is. Look at all of the angles.
Sure. That's
make
really
sure
good.
make sure your decision is right before you make it. Like that's kind of like take a second. Don't be rash. Just take a breath, step back, look at the whole picture, and then make your decision.
Very good.
See where it's gonna end up.
Yeah,
And it's not.
think of where it's gonna lead.
True.
And the big thing is, it's not what you make; it's what you keep.
Tell me about it.
You can bring in millions, and it can be gone as well.
Last
That's
one.
true.
What's the worst advice you guys have gotten in business?
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Don't even think about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
See, it works for some of us.
Yeah, well, that's how she rolls. So everyone's gonna
know,
follow
Start
that.
with this. Sure.
The biggest misconception is I'm the boss. I get to do it. I have all the time in the world. The reality is, like I said earlier, you don't. It's like, okay, I don't want a boss. Well, now every single customer of ours at Rangel or at Gastrogrind, they're the boss right then and there. You gotta make sure every single one of them is happy, and that's just it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of the biggest, I guess, false advice I was given was like, because you're the boss, you're above everyone. No, you're the same as everyone.
Right.
You have to respect them. You have to respect your employees.
Absolutely.
You have to treat them with respect, and you have to talk to them like they're people.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like. Someone told me like, oh no, they work for you. They're your minions.
That's
They're
the
your,
bad
I
That's
think
the bad
it's the
mentality.
opposite. I think you
That's-
actually work for them.
That was probably the worst piece of advice I've ever
Yeah,
given.
you respect everybody the same. This is the funny thing that I was just thinking right now. I didn't know how to help. I'm not in the restaurant business. So what did I do every day when I went in? After I leave Rangel, I'm going to go check how they're doing. I'm going to wash the dishes.
Wow. Get to
So
the
it's for
nitty
a
gritty,
long
man.
time I watched the dishes.
Awesome.
It'd get busy. I didn't know what to do. Sometimes I would help in the front. I'm like, okay, I don't even know what I'm do now. You know what? I'm like, oh, here's some pots.
Don't want to mess somebody's order up, so
Yeah,
I'll go back.
I
I'll go to the
watch.
back and not,
And it was time for me to go home, and I didn't want to leave until I saw everybody leave.
not first in, last to leave.
I didn't want to go. I felt bad leaving the cook and Ruben and the chef, and I'd see, I know when they're closed, the waiter's got to clean the floors. I'm like, I got to help, man. I can't leave.
Wow.
And so it was tough, but that was the whole point. You wear all hats, you do
Oh, yeah.
everything. But I
Absolutely.
said, Ruben, what can you help? You can wash dishes. All right, I'm cool with that.
Well, thank you guys. We want to thank you for coming and giving us a piece of your time, and we want people to hear your story and maybe connect and who knows, inspire somebody to do the same.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, and I can't wait to hear some more of your guests because there's a lot of inspirations out there.
I think so too.
I was inspired by people. You were inspired by people that
That's what it's all about, man.
Sure.
Just giving to the next
You never know
generation
who
coming
from.
up. Exactly.
Right.
You never know who's going to listen. Maybe the next great chef is listening to Ruben over here. You never know. So that's what this is all about. So thanks for coming in, guys. If you liked what you heard today, subscribe, like, share, and we'll talk to you next time.
All right,
Absolutely.
thank
Thanks.
you.
Thanks.